everyone, I am Mecha Random42, your favorite YouTube harpy, and remember Friday's story that went around where Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson allegedly gave an interview where he said that snowflake culture is taking us backwards, and well, there was a little more news to that story. I did put out a video stating that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson actually denied saying any of these things that the original article this came from, and I even was on the second link. When I reported this, I reported it from comicbook.com's site, and they even retracted it after Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson put on his Twitter, I didn't say this, I never had an interview with this article or with this newspaper. They are a tabloid thing, so sometimes we gotta take these with a grain of salt, but man, I love seeing these sort of sites lose their minds. Of course, the Mary Sue lost their minds when this dropped, and this is kind of hilarious, so I just want to take some time and laugh at at their reaction, because, I mean, who doesn't want to see somebody losing their minds every now and then? This is kind of fun. So, the Mary Sue, Princess Weekies, I don't know, or is it Weeks? It might be Weeks. I'm sure you're a princess of made-up Atonia or something, right? So she writes, Dwayne Johnson says that snowflake culture is taking us backwards. Backwards probably wouldn't be the word I used for it. I would probably use something more along the lines of, yeah, I would probably say that. We're regressing. The snowflake culture absolutely is causing us to regress into this sort of culture of thought police. You can't say anything, and they attack people for the color of their skin, because you're a white person. They go around attacking you for that. So I wanted it to be true. I really did. Former wrestler turned one of the highest paid stars in the world, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, had an interview with the British tabloid newspaper The Daily Star, in which he called out the younger generation for putting us backwards and looking for reasons to be offended. They kind of are. And it's not just the younger generation, a lot of people are. It's not so much an age thing. Considering that this is the Daily Star, I'll start by showing you exactly what they quoted him as saying and how they did so, without embellishment. So they give a quote, "If you are not agreeing with them, then they are offended, and that is not why so many great women fought for." Or not what so many great women... Use a better font, please, Mary Sue. The superstar thinks that while the world has become more tolerant and a better place, whining snowflakes are draining a positive change through their constant moaning. I really agree with that. They kind of are. We thankfully now live in a world where the world has progressed over the last 30 or 40 years, said the 46-year-old beefcake. People can be who they want, be with who they want, and live how they want. It's true. All of these things are true. That can only be a good thing, but Generation Snowflake, or whatever you want to call them, are actually putting us backwards. Again, for the language of the piece, you can clearly picture them cackling about other outlets, picking up the story, and owning the snowflakes by turning one of the biggest stars against him. Him who? By turning one of the biggest stars against him. Mashable, who reported on the story, mentioned that they have reached out to The Rock's representatives for comment, so if he releases any clarifying statements on the topic, I'll add them to the post. Until then, let's work with this whole snowflakes are ruining everything and looking to be offended line of thought, because from both conservative and liberals across the world, we constantly hear that millennials are somehow so much softer than the previous generations, and that's just not true. It's not the entire generation. It's that mindset, and it is stereotyped because there is enough of them to kind of create a stereotype, and of course I don't say everybody of that generation are snowflakes. There are certainly people of every generation that are very offended by absolutely everything, and yeah, it's not just millennials. Every older generation thinks that the generation came after them is too soft. The lost generation, scared by the carnage that was left by World War II, grew up in a wealthy but emotionally toxic environment, which was followed by the greatest generation, which had to deal with the Great Depression, technology quickly changing, and World War II. Did I say World War II up there? I meant World War I. Then came the silent generation, who were overshadowed by their predecessors and eaten up by the baby boomer children, who were the rebels of their day and the conservatives of ours. Actually, a lot of the baby boomers were pretty liberal. I mean, Woodstock was kind of a thing. You know, we started having more people fighting for interracial marriage and same-sex stuff. You know, we had a lot of really progressive liberal things come out of the baby boomer generation. So then comes Generation X, the time of my elder sister and Dwayne Johnson, and then me, the dirty millennial, who will apparently one day look at my niece's generation as the coming of the end of days. The brief lesson of things that you would know if you watched Mad Men is to illustrate that the idea of the millennials are special in being looked down on by previous generations is not only historically inaccurate, but it also ignores that my generation has been dealing with a lot of bullshit. So has mine. I am Gen X, and I'm offended that the millennials are technically about a year after me, or 2 years after I was born. I don't think so. I think millennials probably should be the ones up to about 24 years of age, but that's not... I think you've got to consider what people think of when they think millennials. Because I don't think of anybody who, like Rob says on Midnight's Edge After Dark, if you remember Nirvana, you're probably not a millennial. Like, if you can remember not having the internet, you're probably not a millennial in my book. But sure, whatever. 9/11 collectively traumatized our country, but as someone who was only 9 when it happened, I barely remember life before that time. See, I was 21, 22 when that happened. What year was that? I don't remember. I was a grown adult, so that's all I remember. The 90s brought us the Ruby Ridge, the Waco siege, Oklahoma City bombing, and a jump in domestic terror. If you look up domestic terrorism, the United States has the longest list of entries. We've had to deal with the effects of war in the Middle East and an economy that has made it so that my generation will under-earn what our parents did. Hey, us too! Us too! Me too! Hashtag me too! Quit your bitching! And we still have to deal with politicians who actually want to roll back the progress of the civil rights activists. Yet, it is us, the people who call out jokes that are homophobic, transphobic, racist, sexist, who are ruining things. So, it's so disingenuous. But you are the people. Okay, the people like the Mary Sue writers are the people who go around saying white men are the problem. Straight people are the problem. We need more gay people, more representation, because if it isn't for those filthy heterosexual white people... You know, and now they're going after people like Kevin Hart, who isn't exactly white. So yes, you guys are kind of sexist and racist and heterophobic. Is this kind of what your culture sort of tends to preach about on a lot of these Twitter handles? You know, Princess Mononoke or whatever the hell your name is who wrote this article. We are not new. You're not. What we feel is not new. Yeah, I know. I've heard it all before. Like when I studied the Salem witch trials or the McCarthy hearings in the from the 50s. You know. Are you now, or have you ever told a homophobic joke on Twitter? You know, just stupid shit like that, and then they go after everybody. They go after you. These SJW sort of people. They do eat their own, you know, and anytime one of them makes a mistake, just look what happened to John Kasdan recently. Like he said one thing about, God, I could never get dates in high school and something, and these crazy people just descended on him like he shot their dog in the face or something. Yes, with all the hubbub about Kevin Hart, did we all forget what Eddie Murphy did in 2011? Quitting hosting the Oscars because producer Brett Ratner said rehearsing is for, I'm not going to say that word, during a press tour, and subsequently resigned himself. And even Ratner, who is gross on multiple accounts, managed to actually give a decent apology. Yeah, you know what? I don't want to apologize. It's as simple as that. Once you start submitting and letting these people win, I mean, they're bullies. They're absolute out-and-out bullies. They are outraged on behalf of other people for no goddamn reason. I've gotten a well-deserved earful from many people I admire most in the industry expressing their outrage and disappointment over the hurtful and stupid things I said in a number of recent media appearances. To them and to everyone I've hurt and offended, I'd like to apologize publicly and unreservedly. So that's Brett Ratner's apology. She's kind of all over the place in this article. As difficult as the last few days have been for me, they cannot compare to the experience of any young man or woman who has been the target of offensive slurs or derogatory comments. And the pale in comparison to what any gay, lesbian, or transgender individual must deal with as they confront many inequalities that continue to plague our world. Here, story time. Story time. I'm bi. A lot of people know that on the channel. I have had experience being bullied by the LGBT community, or members of, and I'm not going to paint the entire community with this brush. There have been a couple of separate occasions where I wasn't gay enough for groups of, to put it lightly, angry lesbians. I'm not gay enough. I'm not out enough. I don't find that to be relevant to throw in everyday conversation all the time. You know, it is something that isn't really a lot of people's business. I don't think it makes me who I am. It's just a side sort of interesting characteristic. It's just something extra. It has nothing to do with my intellect, my ability to smell bullshit on these articles sometimes. Sometimes I get fooled by them. It doesn't really matter. I don't need to see a bisexual person on screen to justify my existence. No, nor do I stop existing, nor are you denying my existence if I don't see a bisexual person on screen, because I'm never going to be represented 100%. Never. I don't look like everybody else. I don't act like everybody else, and neither do you guys. God. So this is just her more bitching and moaning, and Johnson's comments are wrong, not because I disagree with them, but because they're historically incorrect and based on the faulty idea that the need for activism is over. Oh, no. See, even if he said that, no, we still need to just be nice be excellent to each other and party on. Just stop with the bullshit. Stop going around attacking and being outraged at every goddamn thing people say. And this is why I make these sort of videos, because I like to kind of poke fun at it and laugh at it and say, you know what, here's how we fix this. I can't speak for Generation Snowflake. As a collective, I don't think we believe in collectives. I'll have to check my newsletter. But I think that people confuse calling out bullshit as being triggered or being sensitive. Yeah, but no, you are being triggered. A lot of the times, like, I'm so triggered. Oh my god. You know, this is the same argument that we had recently with everybody saying that the Golden Globes were racist because Black Panther won. Forgetting what movie did win. The movie about the gay man who died of AIDS, who changed the world through music. So this is kind of where we are as a society. What do you guys think? I don't want to waste any more breath reading this garbage and this nonsense drivel. What do you guys think? I just thought this was kind of funny in the light of the whole thing being fake. And of course the Mary Sue's gonna go out there and be like, of course we're so offended, I'm literally shaking right now. Of course you are. Of course you are, Princess Mononoke, whatever the hell your name is. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I am Mecha Random 42. I will see you on the 14,000 sub live stream in Saturday evening. Probably Central Time, Saturday evening sometime. January 12th, 2019. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys on the next video or the 14,000 sub stream. Bye! Thanks for watching! If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button, and if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye!